Hey everybody, Scott Barboza for ESPNBoston.com. High school's coming at you with a Super 8 play-in game edition wrap up here tonight from Stoneham Arena, joined, as always, my compadre, Bruce Lerch over here. Bruce, kind of a compelling night here. The first game coming in, Hingham Central Catholic, a real instant classic, you could say. 4-3 win by the Raiders, coming back from a 3-goal deficit, getting the win in overtime, and then in the nightcap, not so close. Malden Catholic regaining its form as we've seen in the last couple years in this tournament, coming away with a 9-1 win over Archbishop Williams. Let's start with the first game. A really great, compelling game. I thought it was pretty even, honestly, in the first period in particular, but Hingham buried its opportunities. Sam D'Antuno, Matt Brazel working their magic again.
I might even disagree with you a little bit. I actually thought that Hingham was clearly in command for most of the first two periods. And like you said, Sam and Matt were just terrific. They were doing everything out there on the ice for Hingham, dominating the game and putting the goals away. And to be honest, it just looked like the game was over until Central came and got that late goal in the second period. That changed everything. And the kids fed off of that and then, really put the hammer down, showed a lot of heart coming back there in the third period.
Mm-hmm. And I thought Colin Susi was pretty good for Central in net, really kept them in that, weathered the storm a little bit. Looked like, again, that top line was going to be able to do whatever they wanted. But Susi kept them in the game, and eventually they got their feet under themselves. I think a big key, talking to Nick Gorski in the post-game, was that they were trying to cheat a little bit to the center and force Hingham's forwards to beat them to the boards and then be able to staple them. And I think that change made by Mike Jankowski really paid dividends for them, particularly in the third period. And then those goals, they just kept coming.
Well, and you said it right off the top, they wouldn't have been able to do any of it without Susi back there. How many times did we see his left pad shoot out or his right pad shoot out or the glove flash? Without him, it's probably a 6-1 game, in Hingham's favor. But instead, Susi was just brilliant and held the fort until they got going. And like we said, they fed off the momentum of that first goal, and then between Gorski and Regan getting the tying goal, it also, taking advantage of rebounds. They were swarming the net. They knew rebounds seemed to be there, and the Central kids picked up on that, feeding off the momentum, and they were there for those rebounds. And as we saw, that ended up blooming heavily in the overtime as well.
I think that was a huge sub-factor, too. I remember the playing game that we had a couple years back at Chelmsford Forum. Lloyd Hayes was actually one of the kids that scored a big goal to get them into the tournament. And again tonight you see some of the second, third line players, as you mentioned, Regan, and then Weber, obviously a top line player there. But some of the other guys were shouldering the scoring responsibility there. I think that bodes well for Central moving on in this tournament.
Absolutely, and you knew they had to step up. Obviously, they're playing without Mike Kelleher tonight, and he'll be back for the remainder of the tournament, as far as we understand. But great to see these guys step up. You're getting a goal from the defense with Gorski, one of our favorite players, that we always talk about. And, Corey Weber getting his chance in the shine. What a play he made, too, on that overtime goal. Walked in alone. Great stop initially. But, again, the rebounds hurt. And, it seemed like it was almost like a magnet back to Corey's stick, and he buried it. And that Central ends up. What a great comeback. Showed a lot of heart.
Let's get to the nightcap real quick before we start looking ahead in this tournament. Malden Catholic. Again, it's been the story. We
look out.
Let's go back to Saturday. That 6 versus 7 debate there with CMMC, two Catholic Conference rivals playing for that last spot there. Both coaches very impassioned in their pitches to the tournament committee. Ultimately, the vote goes in CM's favor. This is a major statement for Malden Catholic coming here tonight.
Malden Catholic made note. They paid attention to that. You could tell from the post-game comments that while they wouldn't say it, you could tell by looking at the faces that meant something to them. So they wanted to come out tonight, make a statement. Nothing against Archbishop Williams. They're certainly going to have a great run, most likely in the Division I South tournament. But, they're just not at this level. And, for anybody from Braintree or Duxbury who thinks that it might have been different, save that and just,
We'll let everybody ruminate on that just a little bit. But, again, another underlying theme for Malden Catholic this year, I think, the theme this year coming in was, where is the depth going to be? A lot of their top-line players in years past were playing, kind of supporting roles on the second or the third line in recent years. Now all those kids are on the first line, and the impetus is really, for defenses to break down that line. But tonight, again, we saw some of the secondary level players. I think Pat Wren had a tremendous game tonight. I think that's a very good sign for them going forward.
Wren had a couple of goals. Tyler Siflin had multiple assists before he ended up getting hurt. He is fine, Coach McLean said, and he'll be fine and ready to go for Sunday. But yeah, getting those players, we even get to see, some of their, lesser used players in the third period. Obviously, they're trying to get the starters out of the game. Guys like Raf Kalella coming through, with a couple of goals for him. It's great for him, and it's not a case of running it up. You still have to play the game, and they're doing what they do, and they're cycling the puck around with either the younger or just guys that don't get to play that much, and they get a chance to shine. And all I can say, Scott, is there's a bunch of coaches in D1 North that probably had a big smile once the score update started flowing. So.
Now, let's look ahead, because now we have all of our matchups settled in, but let's concentrate on the two teams that played here tonight in their next round. St. John's Prep, Central Catholic, obviously two programs that don't play in the same conference but are familiar with each other, typically play a game early in the season. We saw this year Central Catholic won that game. And then Malden Catholic and Springfield Cathedral just last week. Malden Catholic goes out to the Olympia in West Springfield, comes away with a very hard-fought 1-0 win. We've heard that the Panthers are actually looking forward to the challenge of having MC come in and play them in this first round series here, a best of three. Should they be a little bit wary about the momentum that this Lancer team is coming in with?
Sometimes you get what you wish for, Springfield. So be very careful with that kind of talk. But nothing against the Panthers. Obviously, they've made their mark this year as well. But MC is on fire right now, and I think. And if you ask around anybody who's an observer of the high school game, they'll tell you that Malden Catholic on talent, regardless of the records and what happened, with their little swoon in January, is still either the number one or number two most talented team here, along with St. John's Prep. Be careful what you wish for, guys, because Malden Catholic is playing on a mission right now. They look angry, and if they catch wind of too much of that kind of talk, it could be very interesting. I guess is the way to put it.
Yep. And now that we do have our matchup set, Bruce, which of these, again, I think it can underscore this, it's going to be a best-of-3 series here in the first round. Hockey East style, I think, which is a great tournament unto itself. It's only going to add to this tournament. Which of these matchups, which there are very many, I think all four of them are pretty intriguing matchups, which of these are you most looking forward to?
How can you not love Austin Prep Reading? I mean, it's two schools right in the same town. What a lot of fun that is going to be. And I mean, for Reading, obviously they're the lone public school remaining here, so they're going to pick up all of the Hingham fans that were disappointed tonight. But the public school people will rally behind
maybe some
Reading.
Middlesex League love too.
Middlesex League fans will come in and support those guys as well. And if they can manage to do it against their crosstown. I don't want to call them rivals. In fact, I honestly don't think they've played since the 80s or maybe even earlier than that. So I think that's the most fun and intriguing matchup to come in the first round here.
Really, how can you beat Catholic Memorial BC High for 3 games? Are you kidding me?
And I say that.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just so used to seeing that.
I know, you're used to seeing it, but come on. 50th year anniversary this year. How perfect is this that we get this tournament set up this year for this very moment? And BC High took 2 games in the regular season, one of which was more competitive than the other and came down to the third period and a really tremendous comeback for BC High. But I think in a 3-game series, when you're looking at not who has it on one particular night, is there any way that this game is not going to get to a third game? I really can't see that scenario playing out.
I'd be stunned if it didn't, and it's going to be a great matchup. We have probably the high-profile player matchup here with Liam Coughlin of Catholic Memorial matching up against Peter Cronin in goal for BC High. So that's something that's going to draw a lot of the hockey fans are going to get excited for that matchup. Hey, we see CM and BC High go at it all the time. It is the 50th year anniversary of their playing, which is it definitely exciting that they get a chance to do it one more time. I'm sure they probably both would have rather waited another round or two to get that in, but it'll make for a lot of fun. And the games themselves will be just ultra competitive. A lot of talent on both of those teams, a lot of top-end talent on both of those teams. So it'll be interesting to see. Malden Catholic isn't the only team on a hot streak lately. Catholic Memorial, they got that 6th seed for a reason because they finished the season strong. They too had a little swoon. they finished the season strong as well, and they're riding good right now. And we'll see. BC High's been pretty steady all year, and they've been one of the top teams all year long. So we'll see what happens here, how they can handle CM on a hot streak. And don't forget, first time back in the tournament in 2 years. I think the Knights are going to be pretty hungry.
We haven't yet given you our previews and our picks for the MIAA tournament, barring the results here tonight. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Bruce. Now,
Really is.
Who's your Super 8 champion?
I'll give you the matchup. I think right now I like St. John's Prep against Malden Catholic in that final. I'm hesitant to make a pick on that. It's hard to gauge how well Malden Catholic is playing right now, and when I haven't gotten really a chance to see St. John's Prep in a couple of weeks at least. I have said that St. John's is the number one most talented top to bottom team in the state all year. MC probably has the number one top end talent for sure. If you put me on the spot, I think that's going to be the matchup. Right now, today, I'll give a slight edge to the Prep with Billy Price in net, but I'm not putting the mortgage on it, and I may change my mind 17 times between now and March 17th.
Well, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit here. I'm going to play it safe, perhaps. I'm going to go with St. John's Prep winning the Super 8 this year. I'll tell you why tomorrow on ESPNBoston.com. So for now, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks again to Bruce Lerch. As always, I'm Scott Barboza. Keep it tuned.